Georgie and Mandy's first marriage quietly does something that many long-running TV franchises fail to pull off. It proves that the Big Bang Theory universe still has real staying power, not because it keeps repeating what worked before, but because it understands how to evolve. This show isn't surviving on nostalgia alone, and that's exactly why it matters. In a television landscape where spin-offs often feel unnecessary or creatively bankrupt, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage stands out as evidence that this franchise still has meaningful stories left to tell. What makes this proof so compelling is how different the show feels from The Big Bang Theory itself. The original series thrived on heightened personalities, rapid-fire jokes, and larger-than-life quirks. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage strips all that down. It focuses on responsibility, financial stress, emotional exhaustion, and the quiet disappointments of adulthood. That tonal shift shows maturity, not just for the characters, but for the franchise as a whole. It understands that its audience has grown older, and it's willing to grow with them. At the center of that evolution is Georgie. Once dismissed as the dumb brother, Georgie now carries an entire series on his shoulders, and that alone says a lot about the franchise's depth. The Big Bang Theory universe created characters strong enough to support reinvention. Georgie's journey from comic relief to struggling young husband and father proves that these characters were never one-dimensional. They were simply waiting for the right perspective. The show's success also highlights a key strength of the franchise, its ability to pivot away from genius and still remain compelling. Sheldon Cooper was the gravitational center of The Big Bang Theory and young Sheldon. Removing him from the spotlight could have collapsed the entire structure. Instead, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage thrives without him. That's not a rejection of Sheldon's importance. It's proof that the universe around him was always richer than it appeared. This is where staying power truly reveals itself. A franchise that only works with one character at the center is fragile. A franchise that can shift focus, tone, and themes while still feeling cohesive is resilient. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage shows that The Big Bang Theory wasn't just about intellect or eccentricity. It was about family, insecurity, ambition, and the fear of falling behind. Those themes are timeless. Another reason the show proves the franchise's longevity is its restraint. It doesn't overload episodes with callbacks or references just to remind viewers where it came from. Instead, it allows familiarity to exist quietly in the background. When the Cooper family dynamics surface, they feel organic rather than forced. That subtlety signals confidence. The show doesn't need to shout its lineage to be valid. The writing plays a huge role in this success. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage trusts its audience. It doesn't resolve every conflict neatly. It allows characters to make mistakes and live with them. This approach contrasts sharply with the traditional sitcom formula but aligns perfectly with modern viewing habits. The franchise adapting to this storytelling style demonstrates its ability to remain relevant rather than stuck in the past. Mandy's character is also key to understanding why the franchise still works. She isn't an accessory to Georgie's growth. She's a fully realized person with her own ambitions, flaws, and frustrations. Her presence expands the emotional scope of the universe. The Big Bang Theory often explored romantic relationships through humor first. This series flips that approach, letting discomfort and misalignment lead the narrative. That evolution feels intentional and necessary. The show's popularity also proves that audiences still care deeply about this universe, even without the original cast. That kind of loyalty isn't automatic. It has to be earned. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage earns it by respecting its roots while refusing to be constrained by them. It doesn't pretend the world is the same as it was during the Big Bang Theory. Careers are harder. Money is tighter. Relationships are messier. The franchise acknowledging that reality is why it still connects. There's also something powerful about how the show reframes success. In The Big Bang Theory, success often meant academic achievement, professional recognition, or intellectual validation. In Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, success is smaller and harder to measure. Paying bills on time, keeping a marriage afloat, showing up when you're exhausted. That shift reflects a deeper understanding of adulthood and it broadens the franchise's emotional relevance. The absence of Sheldon, which once seemed risky, ultimately reinforces the franchise's strength. By not leaning on its most iconic character, the show proves it can stand independently. That independence is the clearest indicator of staying power. It shows that the universe isn't frozen in one era or dependent on one personality. It can adapt, refocus, and still resonate. Even structurally, the show feels like a natural extension rather than a forced continuation. It doesn't contradict what came before. It builds on it. Georgie's insecurities, family pressure, and fear of inadequacy all trace back to dynamics established years ago. The continuity feels earned, not manufactured. That long-term coherence is rare and speaks to careful franchise stewardship. The broader implication is significant. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage suggests that the Big Bang Theory universe doesn't need to end, it just needs to keep changing. Future stories don't have to chase the same tone or formula. They can explore different stages of life, different struggles, and different definitions of fulfillment. This flexibility is what gives a franchise longevity beyond nostalgia. Ultimately, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage proves that the Big Bang Theory franchise has staying power because it understands one crucial truth. People change, and good storytelling has to change with them. The show doesn't try to recreate what once worked. It builds something new on a familiar foundation. That willingness to evolve is why the franchise still matters, and why it doesn't feel finished anytime soon.